A year on from having two films premiere in Venice and winning the Volpi Cup for Best Actor, for Michel Franco's Memory, playing a man with early-onset dementia, Peter Sarsgaard has another thought-provoking feature at the festival. This time, although he says he'd love to come and do a little victory lap, work and family commitments mean he won't be in town. But he'll be there in spirit, with the historic thriller September 5th, in which he stars as renowned TV producer Rune Arledge, opening the Horizons Extra section. From director Tim Fellbaum, the film centers on the infamous 1972 Munich Summer Olympics, where members of the Israeli team were taken hostage and later killed. But it tells the tragic and shocking story through the lens of the ABC reporting team, who suddenly had to pivot from sports to live coverage of a terrorist event. It would be a broadcast seen globally by an estimated 1 billion people, but also one that presented the news team with, at the time, unique moral and ethical questions about the role of the media in such situations. For Sarsgaard, who comes off a hugely busy period having just wrapped Frankenstein retelling The Bride. His second feature being directed by wife, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and recently been seen alongside brother-in-law Jake Gyllenhaal in Apple TV Plus courtroom drama series, Presumed Innocent. The events in September 5th were the advent of the sort of live news coverage seen all around us today. But he argues it's not something that has helped provide any sort of deeper understanding. Speaking to Variety, the actor discusses the parables between the events in 1972 and the conflict in Gaza today, how much he loves his wife refusing to allow him to be comfortable on set, why you'll never see him play the same character again either on TV or film, and why he's given up correcting people when they think he's part of the Sarsgaard family. I really enjoyed how September 5th explores such a historic news event, but through a completely different lens, in this case a TV sports team. Was that something that drew you to the film in the first place? I've always been interested in journalism. I think of it as one of the most important aspects of being in a democracy and that it's of supreme importance. And so we have this particular story, which is the advent of live coverage of a news event, and how we've spiraled from there to the point where you could have an iPhone covering some horrific event. People have self-immolated live on Facebook. It's shocking, but people are watching it for reasons that are not about news. I would say some people have a kind of bloodlust in them. So the people who were watching this event of the hostages being taken, somewhere in their minds they knew that someone might get assassinated on camera, yet they kept watching. So I think that our own nature is one of the things that gets in the way of truly understanding an event. But is live coverage the truth? Is it the unadulterated truth to just point a camera at something without any understanding of it on a deeper level? I had no idea about the media's involvement in the event and the moral questions they had to answer, essentially on the spot. Did you know about any of this, and was that something interesting to explore? No, I didn't know anything about this previously, beyond the event. When I first told someone the plot of this, they asked if it was a comedy, because it's about sports guys covering a live terrorist event. I could see why they asked that. But were they any less capable than news journalists at that time would have been, had they been there to cover it? Was there some decision they made that the news guys wouldn't have made that affected it negatively or positively? I don't think so. I think everyone was trying to figure out what a live feed on something like this meant, because no one had done it before. And it's the beginning of something that we've all become very accustomed to. We watch live feeds of all types of violent things. We all watched a live feed of January 6th here. I think what it's done is dulled us to violence, and it's all become a lot less shocking. Your character Rune Arledge was a legendary sports TV producer. Was there any attempt to make you look and sound like the real Rune? I watched a fair amount of him and I think they probably cast me thinking that I had some quality that was similar. But I only ever worry about playing a real person if he's really, really widely known. But Rune is fairly well known. Actually, my daughter is going to Columbia this year. We were recently sat in the Rune Arledge auditorium. So he's definitely a legendary producer, but what does that mean in terms of people who are coming to see this movie? But I've been told people have said I do resemble him somehow. I'm not sure when you were making this movie, but I couldn't help but compare it to today's news, with the ongoing bloodshed between Israel and Palestine, hostage-taking, and the horrific aftermath of that. This was done well before. But of course the recent events in Gaza affect the film and changes the way it's perceived on some level. But the film is so much about perception, about how we perceive the news, which I do think has something to do with what's going on in Gaza. The imagery of what we've seen. A lot of what we saw, and what we continue to see, is live coverage and iPhone coverage. You saw people getting abducted on motorcycles, you see children running out of a building that was just bombed. These things create a lot of feeling, but I don't know that they make us think more clearly. I don't think they add to a deeper understanding. And I think one of the things about contemporary news is that it's really all about inciting emotions and not that much about thinking. But yeah, we made this about 8 months before the events in October. How was the experience of winning the Best Actor award in Venice last year with Memory? It felt really good, because I think sometimes people win awards for things that don't feel to them like their best work. And I think a lot of Memory felt like some of the best work that I've done as an actor. I mean, I don't believe that one performance can be rated higher than another, necessarily, but it was also a really nice accolade for the film, and it got people to see this tiny little film that we had made.